Let's stop this thing.
What happened to Anudika? Oh no.
She'll have to join back.
Thank you. It's live streaming. Will you send a link to us?
Yeah, I'm sharing it. Give me a second.
Anudika, are you there? Mansingh, could you try to call Anudika and ask what's the issue? Does she need some help more time so that we can?
Yes, I'm calling her.
Thank you.
She's just joining back in a half of the minute, she said.
Okay, there was just a little bit of problem. Yes. Sorry, there was just a little bit of problem. Can you hear?
Yeah, we can
Hello.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. There was just a little bit of problem. Sorry. कहीं कुछ आ गया था. So today we all are here, and I'm very glad that we all are on time. We are all here to discuss on repercussion of Indian nurses migration and Germany as a new destination. Let me get the objectives of it. Okay, so here they are. So these are the major things which we will be discussing today. To disseminate the major finding WHO India report, repercussion of nurses migration, brief of the German health system, comparison study of English speaking and non-English speaking countries and their lived examples. The major issue which we are facing nowadays is why it is so. Migration is also every time there is one thing that nurses are migrating to other countries, but why now? Why now it become a issue? Increased number of institutions, so nurses are so much in India. A better lifestyle which can be attained by going out. Non-standard jobs in India, dissatisfaction in nurses, lack of advanced skill recognition over here in India, also career options, which are more over there and less over here in India. So India is going in through such a certain era where there is shortage of nurses over here. We'll be discussing through the WHO India report. But then also, there are so many institutions that we are so much and we can easily migrate. Also, state and center is helping us to go out. So our first speaker today is Mr. Jibin, and he is the director, Reverso Healthcare, also the state president of UNA. He'll be briefing today on WHO India report on nurses migration, review of international migration of nurses from the state of Kerala, India, and its repercussions. Over to you, Jibin.
Thank you so much. And a very good evening now here. Am I audible? Can somebody confirm?
Yes, you are audible, Jibin.
All right, thank you. So once again, very good evening to everybody. This is Jibin here. So first of all, let me thank IAPH and UNA for organizing this event, because this is one of the important topic in today's scenario, because we see there are a lot of nurses fly from India to different part of the globe. And right now, we also see there is a positive approach from the Indian government and also from the global countries, wherein getting nurses from India is one of the important tasks for all of them. But in another side, we do not know what are the difficulties and what are the problems these nurses are facing in the destination country. So the WHO have come up with one of the report which recently published, and it gives you complete understanding how the recruitment process have been held in India and what are the agencies who are involved in it. So it's a very clear understanding and a very detailed report. So the report was held in conducted in Kerala, because Kerala is one of the state where maximum nurses from India move to abroad. So they have taken the state of Kerala as a sample, and they have interviewed many nurses who are working in abroad. Also, some of the nursing organizations like United Nurse Association, Trained Nurse Association, then the Kerala Nursing and Midwifery Council, also the Ministry of Health. So this study was conducted in coordination with the Health Department and the Government of India, also the Indian Nursing Council. So I would like to share some of the important findings and so the objective of this report was to develop an understanding of policy reform and initiatives taken by the Department of Health in partnership with other government departments and agencies to facilitate the migration of nurses from Kerala to destination country. The case study also documented the impact of COVID-19 on nurses' mobility from Kerala. So if I look at the nurses' migration from India in a historical way, India has been sending the largest, India has been sending more number of nurses from India since 1950. And we are one of the largest supplier of nurses for the global need. And currently it is actually increasing. In 2016, it was about 33,147 nurses flew from India to OECD countries. And last year it was about 30,000 nurses only from the state of Kerala. So if you could look at the number of nurses flew to the GCC countries versus the European and North American countries, earlier it was high in GCC countries, but now it has subsequently reduced. And nowadays nurses are more opting for Europe and North American countries. Even if you take up the percentage of nurses in US, it's like 9% of the total nurses in US are from India. And Canada is one of the main destinations wherein now nurses from India are focusing. And the migration to GCC countries are comparably reduced because of many factors. Maybe because the offers what the countries are giving is less in Middle East, rather good in Europe and other North American countries. So if you look at the background situation of human resources of health, according to the World Nursing, State of World Nursing report of 2020, we have roughly about 27.9 million nurses across the globe. And out of that, 19% are the professional nurses, 6% are associate professional nurses, then 2.6 million are unclassified nurses. In India, we have roughly about 3 million nurses. and the qualified nurses are like 22 lakh. And the report projected a rise of total stock of nurses by 2030, it should be 35.9 million, which means we would be able to fulfill the shortage of nurses. And the estimated shortage was about 5.7 million. But the main issues here, like if you look at the increase in population versus the increase in nursing population, still we will have a shortage in, even if it is in 2030. And the other thing is that by in another 5 to 10 years of time, there are about 17% of nursing populations are going to get retired. That's a huge number, what we're going to see. And UK is going to face one of the big challenge in coming years, because in UK, there would be 49% of the nursing personnel would be getting retired in next to 5 to 10 years of time. And by 2025, UK needs at least 40,000 new nurses to join the profession. If I tell you the statistics of Indian nurses, we were having 1.7 nurses per 1,000 population in 2011, whereas in right now we were at 2.3 nurse for 1,000 populations. Earlier it was like in 2015 to 27, it was like 10,000 for the 10,000 population, it is 37.6. But again, as I mentioned, constantly we are increasing the population. So when you see the population ratio versus the nurses population, again we would be expected to have the shortage of nurses. And one of the important thing is that the nursing establishments in India, right now we are having total seats of 285,000 or more than that. Comparably with last 5 years, yes, of course it is increasing, but the main issues here is that the quality of nursing education in India. The monetary bodies are like nursing councils, and the state governments are not really looking into this matter, because they are only focusing on increasing the number of nursing seats rather than not focusing on the quality. You would also see there are a lot of nursing schools and colleges runs in India where they do not have any clinical facilities, nor the faculties, and no facilities being given to the students. So those students comes out of these institutions are placed in various hospitals or clinics in India itself. Those might be not very well trained or maybe undertrained, and these people are handling the live patients. So this is one of the main theft for the population in India, because untrained nurses can make a lot of errors in the health system, and that can be a professional damage to the nursing itself, because everybody would be called as the same nurses, the trained as well as non-trained, or maybe the institution doesn't have any facilities. So from wherever these nurses are getting passed out, still all are called the nurses only. So to make sure that the quality of the education is one of the important thing in India right now, because recently also Government of India have announced 157 new nursing colleges to be started in 1 or 2 years time, which will have 15,000 new seats. That's all will be the BSc nursing. And but we do not see any initiative from the government side to maintain the quality of education or improve the quality of the education in India. Some of the main issues to nursing profession, I'm very sure whatever listed here in this is very less, because we know as a nursing personnel what are the difficulties or what are the issues in the nursing profession. If I have to list down, then I'll have to use multiple slides out here, because there are plenty of issues related to nursing profession. But I've taken some of the main or key issues. The first one is like inadequate job related perks and benefits. Suppose a nurse works in a private hospital anywhere in India, would get roughly a salary about 6,000 to at the max of 20,000 rupees. And that too in tier 2, that means the metro cities. And getting a job in private sector is not a tough job, because even if you walk into any hospital in India today, you're going to get the job. But the thing is that the salary what they're offering is very minimal, or maybe below the minimum wages. And many hospitals do not provide the what is it, the different benefits like maternity benefits or the other statutory benefits. And another thing is the long working hours. If you in private as well as in the public sector, the long working hours is one of the major issue. The nurses have to work at least 30 to 120 minutes every day extra. I mean, beyond their working schedules in private as well as in the government hospitals, which means the workload and the working times are going very lengthy, and which is badly impacting on nurses' health as well. And health security in private as well as in public sector. You know, if you talk to any nurses working in private health sector, I mean, keeping aside of the corporate, many private hospitals are not giving any health security. And also, I think in majority of the public hospital also too. And the major issue, inability to pay the study loans. If you look at the nursing aspirants who have gone to the nursing, almost a good percent of them are studying through a education loan. So to repay those education loan, it will take long time. So as I was checking with some of the nursing colleges in India right now, that the total cost of completing a degree in India is costing about 6 lakh to 15 lakh rupees, depending on the city where you study or depending on the institution where you get your admissions. So a student opting for a course have to pay 6 lakh or maybe more than that. And after completing the course, what the benefit that they're going to get is like they start their career with just 6,000 or maybe 10,000 rupees in India. So nurses' outlook regarding the migration, of course, the main thing is the assured employment in different countries, and a secure job. And irrespective of the sex, we can see the males and females, everybody is opting for the nursing profession right now. Opportunity to go abroad and experience the wider world. And because of the influence of the relatives or friends who are working in abroad, and they have been, convincing these aspirants that, okay, if you work in these countries, you are going to get these benefits. You can lead a good life in those countries. And of course, economical factors, if you compare the wages in India versus any country out of India, would be far, far better. So a nurse gets 6,000 rupees in India. The same nurse, if they fly to European country, they start the payment from 2 lakh to maybe 4 or 5 lakh rupees. So the main factors influencing the migration, lack of deserving remuneration. Yes, I had a lot of talk about that. Then recognition is one of the important factors, because when we work as a professional, the society and the system have to accept it, that the nurses are one of the main professional in the healthcare system. But I do not see that kind of attitude from the system as well as from the society. When you see any hospital, always nurses have been sidelined, and nurses have been not involved in the decision making, either in the private sector or in the public sector. Also, to voice out the nurses' issue, nurses cannot voice out their issues anywhere in the forums. Only through some of the researchers or maybe some of the social activists, the issues have been taken out right now. Then, as I mentioned, influence of the peer friends who studied together and had relative working abroad. Sensitized sessions by recruitment agencies, because right now there are plenty of recruitment agencies from India, which is owned by a private entity or run by the government agencies. They used to run different sessions for motivating the nurses to migrate abroad. And also, when you compare India versus US or Canada, they give you best career progression in terms of you can expand your career into different levels. As in, right now, we have nurse practitioner course in India, but we do not know where are these nurses going to practice in India. Whereas in US or Canada, when they come up with those kind of nurse practitioner or maybe nurse specialized courses, they have clear cadre to work in their system. But in India, we just have one designation, that is nursing officer, senior nursing officer. Maybe at the most we have nursing director. That's it. and possibility of better lifestyle in destination countries. Of course, this destination countries give a better lifestyle,
Jibin,
safe. Yes,
take another 2 minutes and will you try to?
right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, of course, you can bring your family to destination country, and the social security is far better. And these are the main, influential factor for nurses to migrate abroad. Indian government have introduced something called as e-migrate system to control or regulate the migration of nurses from India to ECR countries. So there are around 18 ECR countries wherein when a nurse moves to these countries, they have been notified through e-migrate system. So the recommendation come out from this report was to adopt OSCE method as like developed countries into our curriculum itself. Right now, we are completely into a theoretical versus just a practical session. But if you could adopt this OSCE method, that would be helping nurses to get placed abroad very soon. And the communication is one of the major challenge when it comes to nursing professionals. So to have a communicative language English in these curriculum as part of classroom training or online session, that would actually enhance their ability to communicate and clear the examinations like IELTS or occupational English test. And also promote the study of foreign languages, any language like German, Spanish, or maybe Japanese. That would also encourage nurses to move into those non-English speaking countries. And coordinate with different agencies that are working towards assisting recruitment and skill building with similar courses to provide maximum benefit to trainees. So right now there are many government and non-government organizations to improve the nursing skills in India. Recently, the Indian Nursing Council have set up a simulation lab in Delhi along with AIIMS. So those kind of organizations should encourage the nurses to take part in this skill development. And disseminate information regarding program directly through nursing institutions and indirectly through social media channels to reach almost prospective nurses and their parents. Government agencies to adopt more customer-friendly, informative, and easily accessible system that have more liberal federal system. So one of the important thing here, right now, we do not have a centralized monitoring system that clearly say that what are the number of nurses have gone out of India. So we should strictly monitor the number of nurses migrate to which country, on what platform they moved, and what are the perks and benefits and rights they're going to get in the destination country. And I think that is the most important thing right now. The government of India have to do it along with this, the signed agreement with different countries. And also the government of India have to involve professional bodies, professional associations to monitor such kind of thing and intimate the government to regulate this system itself. That's it from my end. Thank you. Over to Santosh.
Anurika, please.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was a very nice talk. We got to know many things from you. We have learned a lot. And we got to know that the nurses are in so much of numbers that they are free to go anywhere. And then also India will not suffer. And what I understand is government is not bothering about how, why, and when we move out, because they are not providing us with anything over here. And for the better lifestyle, everyone is free to go. Even engineers, brain drain is always there in India. And for nurses, yes, government only comes to know about nurses when there is any crisis out there in any of the country. Then they come to know, okay, so many nurses are there and we have to get them back from there. Then only we are into focus. Otherwise, we are not into focus. And yes, it is high time that we should look into the things that how a proper policy is being made up so that we can be fair and proper way to go there. Now we'll be moving on further to Mr. Sachin Konkani. He is the Deputy Nursing Manager, University Hospital, Heidelberg, Germany. And he'll be talking about Germany as a new destination, health system and opportunity. So please.
So thank you very much. First, yeah, hello. So thank you very much. And I would like to firstly thank IPH and UNA India branch that's providing an opportunity for me to speak on this platform. Basically speaking, yeah, I'm not going to into the details. I presently work in Germany and actually been a part here, and I would like to discuss about the German healthcare system, the challenges and possibilities, and yeah, basically I'm not going to into the main details. Maybe Santosh can help me out when I have problems with my English, because right now I am feeling a little bit difficulties switching into the languages. So German healthcare challenges and possibilities. So what are the challenges and what are the possibilities which the German healthcare system can provide? So as any other healthcare system, it is having, basically it is the structure, it is divided into three networks. One is the legislative framework, self-administration, legislative in the matters of judicial, and where the government or the judicial system makes the laws for the healthcare, and secondly, it goes into the self-administration, where the insurance companies and the various associations, organizations take over, and they make these, taking into the judicial framework into mind, they will make their rules. And thirdly, the main important is the provision of healthcare to the insurers. This is mainly done by us, that is the nurses, the doctors, and other healthcare professionals. I'm not going into the details of German healthcare system, because that is not it is not the right platform to go into the details. I'll just tell the German healthcare has two sectors. One is mainly it is governed with the statutory healthcare or the statutory health insurance, which covers mainly 87.7% of the total population, and the private health insurance, which covers around 10.5% of the total population. So why it is important? Because here in Germany, I think since 2009, the health insurance is made compulsory. As in India, we have heard health for all till 2020, and so was the promises done that the health will reach each and every sector. So basically, similarly, the German healthcare has two sectors, and it is 100% free insured, and each and every person, irrespective of what they earn or they do, will have a similar healthcare facility provided. Whether he's rich, whether he's poor, he will be treated in the similar way, basically. So how it is done, like whoever earns more, he will pay a percentage into the health insurance. Maybe you earn 1,000 rupees, you pay 10%, that is 100. And if someone earns only rupees 10 or only rupees 100, he will pay rupees 10 per month into the health system. So it is how it works, and who earns more gives more to the social system, and who earns less gives less, but in the end, everybody will be provided with a similar kind of health system. I have just read somewhere that it is one of the best, or it is one of the social systems, and it is very good system of health, I personally feel. But it has its own challenges and some things which we are going to just look into. So providing Germany's population, yeah, it is not more in comparison to Indian population. It's only 383 million. With the medical case, they say it is a massive task. Delivering this healthcare draws a network of around 1,900 hospitals, 150,000 doctors, 28,000 psychotherapists, and around 90,500 pharmacies. This was the publication done by the Minister of Health in 2020. And I was very sad to read this, and there were no any mentions of how many nurses are actually providing care or what is the percentage of nurses which is more required. Because basically saying Germany as any other East European or European or the Eastern Western countries, they are already facing shortage of nurses because the production is more and the requirement is production is less and the requirement is more because of various factors such as more old age population, the expectancy of life is so tell like a report says that the expectancy of life or the for males it is around 77 to 78, and that is an average 83 to 84 to in case of females, but that is an average. That means that there are people more than 100 years they already live, and actually to speak they do not to say what do you call it as, they do not participate, they are not the taxpayers, but they are only then they will receive the benefits out of what the tax they have paid in their life. So I will go into the major topic which is of more interest today, working as a nurse in Germany. So I started my journey in Germany around 4 years back, and so being an Indian nurse, it was really challenging. So why it was challenging? So I can what to expect as a foreign nurse, and what do you do as a nurse in India, and what do you do it in here in Germany? The healthcare system is totally different. In India, we see right from GNM, that is diplomas, bachelors, the masters, the PhD holders, MPhil, and etc., etc., etc. The area of the nursing is very large, or it's very wide. Whereas in Germany, I was also surprised to know that since till 2009, there was only GNM, or to call it a diploma nursing, and it was more of practice and less of the theory, just like a GNM what we have back in India. So also your area of work and what you do as a nurse in German hospitals, it also depends. And as I also already told you, each state and each healthcare provider, insurer, they make their own rules, and depending on the hospital where you are working, you are allowed or not allowed to do certain things. For example, in a hospital, you may be allowed to draw blood. In the hospital, why you may not be allowed to draw blood, and etc. As I was working in, to be clear, I was working as a nurse, staff nurse, or the nursing officer at Victoria Hospital, Bangalore, and there we used to do all kind of procedures, all kind of things. So you are whole and soul responsible for your patients, and you handle patients on your own with the definitely with the help of the doctors who are available on phone or who are available at point. But when you start working as a nurse here, so you have to change, the work culture is different. You have to change yourself very much. You cannot work here so freely as you used to work back in India. So job responsibilities, any different from that? Yeah, definitely, because as it was only an hospital, it is called a diploma course here. So you were allowed only to do a specific kind of rules, like invasive procedures were not allowed, we are not allowed, are not allowed, or something. And if you want to do this kind of course procedures, for example, if you want to put a needle, or you want to put in cannula, you have to do a Walter Bildung. You have to do extra course for that, and you have to get a certificate, and then you are allowed to do it. And it is not only for this, it was a simple example, but and for other procedures too. So basic nursing care is more. I don't remember as such like in India, like there are most of the relatives take off the patients, so you don't have to do the basic care like washing the patients, then combing them or helping them with eating, so, or bedding or something. Only in case of intensive patients or something, we do this all things, but in case of normal wards, it is actually not done. But here, the basic care or the nursing care is taken into, they take it more seriously. They feel that it is more important than any other care and other non-nursing jobs like blood, drawing blood, sending it to laboratory, and giving, writing an ECG or something. It is considered as not our responsibility, but it is considered as responsibility of a doctor. But again, to be clear, it again depends on the hospital you are working, in the field you are working, and what. Role change and cope up. How will you cope up? So it is a really difficult job to cope up when your role changes. So basically, when I started working here, I started working here as an assistant nurse. So it was completely new for me. I never worked as an assistant anywhere. I was working independently in India. I used to take my decisions. I used to plan my day. I used to take care of my patients. I used to do everything on my own. But when I came here, I was, as I was not having a registration, so I was given up a job as a nurse assistant, and basically I had to work as an assistant. What do you mean by a nursing assistant? That is nothing but you work, but you are not answerable to anything, but you work under a registered nurse. So a registered nurse under whom you are working is basically responsible for everything, and you carry out the responsibilities which she plans or he plans, and you are just implementing what the others have planned for you. So that was very, even you have a lots of knowledge, but you are not having a license to practice this. So it was a basic role change, or and in this phase, it is very difficult. Like you should be basically very much available, or you should be mentally prepared just in order to cope up with this role change. If you're not mentally prepared, so you will get frustrated, because to get your registration or to get your license, it will take some time here in this country. So again, it is due to your, again, you have to be mentally strong or mentally cope up. So in order to cope up with the role change. And then the next thing, what was the major barrier or major, I'm sorry, I'm not getting the word. So the cultural barriers and the language. The basic barrier here is the language. Nobody understands what you speak, not also English. So it is a major problem. When I entered the hospital, I should start speaking to the patients in German. The documentation was in German, and basically the culture. The culture plays a very important role. We study it throughout our nursing syllabus, cultural differences, ethical dilemmas, and etc. But the culture here is a little bit different. So exactly speaking, that there are no relatives which you will get to see in the normal ward situations. The patient comes, he's operated, and he will go alone in most of the cases. And so these are the things. So again, apart from all this, will be provided with the job satisfaction? Yeah, in some cases, yes, you are satisfied because you are doing what you have basically learned. Like we learned fundamentals of nursing. So I myself, as I feel sorry that I did not practice it much in India, but here I'm practicing it. So in nursing level, you have a job satisfaction, you have respect, you are paid better, and that's why that's also a part of your job satisfaction. And again, as Jibin already told or highlighted, that there is a good quality of life and so and etc. What are the facilities you get, what the children's get, etc. etc. Again, job satisfaction I can call it like it is. It is again, it is not subjective, you cannot subjectively tell it, but again, objectively also you cannot tell it. So yeah. Then quality at the cost of cheap work. I don't want to go into this into details. I just added it. Then promises versus reality. So this slide, this is my last slide. There are some 5 points. I think I can wind it up in 2 to 3 minutes. So what are the promises and what is the reality? So in terms of salaries, so what are you promised? So you are promised a certain amount of X salary, but you are not being made aware what is that minus Y, where it will go. What is X and what is Y? You are promised amount X. So I have come into contact with so many of my juniors, my students back in India, and they will be calling me, messaging me. So, sir, what an opportunity. There are so many recruitments for Germany, and there are free recruitment. Should I go? Is it worth or something? Then I always ask them, what are they promising? Then they tell me that they are promising me a job in XYZ hospital, in an XYZ country, in my XYZ state, and they are going to pay me salary X. So again, the salary X is very, it is very tasty. When you see, as Jibin already told, it's around starting, you can around 2 lakhs, you can take it. Around 2.2 lakhs is the starting salary. If I was in India, if anybody came to me and told you get around 2 lakhs per month salary, and would you like to move? I would definitely say I would definitely tell yes. Okay, but what is the reality? You get a salary X, but there are Y number of deductions which will get out from your salaries. So for example, that is why I started with the tax system, or I started with the insurance system, because here it is a social system. You have to pay for everything. You have to pay your taxes, you have to pay for your social security. What is social security? It is the pension, it is the health system, it is the your long-term care, your short-term care, and etc. So this almost, when I came here, when a new person comes here or to any country, there is a complex tax system, which I will go into now itself, that there are 5 tax classes. When somebody comes here, joins here, he will be put into a tax class 1. So I think Santosh can go into the details maybe later, and this tax system will get your salary reduced by around 35 to 40%. So if I'm promised around 2,000, then I'll be ending up with around 1,400 in my hand. In this 1,400, you have to lead your life, you have to pay for your rent, you have to pay for your daily, etc. So the next challenge was the recognition. You will be told that, yeah, you will just join as a nursing assistant, and then later you will be doing it, you will be getting registered as a staff nurse, and then you will be paid a higher salary. But no one will tell you what is the time consumed in this recognition process. It is again different. So the time consumed may take around 6 months to 1 year. In my case, it took more than a year till I got my recognition, or till I got my certificate or the license to work. Then after that, I could actually work normally, and my salaries were increased. Then the cost of living, we already spoken about. As you earn more, you also spend more. So that's it. So the cost of living, etc., etc., etc. These are the points which nobody no agency will tell you what is the cost of living, what is the tax system, what amount will be deducted, what amount will you require for your daily living, and how much amount you can save or how much amount you can send back to India, and etc. They will not at all discuss this. So I just feel that these points, whenever you plan to move to any country, not only Germany, any Western country, anything, just go into the details. What is the cost of living, etc., 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 because that makes a lot of changes. Because when you move, you already spend a lot of, you're given so much of effort, spend a lot of money also, and a lot of time, and you are moved to a XYZ country, and then if you cannot cope up with the cost, if you cannot cope up with living there, it is actually very difficult for you to survive. And then again, it is also difficult to move back because, dilemma that what will my relatives say, what will my friends say, etc., etc. Then you'll end up into depression. So better research yourselves, whichever country you are moving into, what is before you. Then again, so another important thing is the family reunion. Family reunion is a very important issue. Most of us would be married, or most of them would be having plans that my parents will join me, and those things we should be knowing before, because Germany do not offer family visa for your partner. For your family or for your wife, you will get a lifelong or extended visas, but for your parents, for your mother, for your father, for your brother, for your sister, you will not get an extended visa. That is only given for 3 months of time. And again, the visa requirements of any country, you should be knowing. Like if you move there, whether your parents can be moving there for a long time, they can live there for years together with you, and so something like this. So I think that was from my side. If you have any questions, previously I saw someone raising the hand. If any questions which I could answer.
Questions will be taken in the last. We are running short of time.
Okay, then thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And yeah.
Thank you so much, dear. That was a very enriching experience. Rest of the things will be taken up by Dr. Santosh sir, and he'll be talking about what nurses should consider before deciding their destination country, and there will be a comparative study he'll be sharing with us in between non-English and English-speaking countries. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Niharika. I'll make very quick and short because we are have only 6 minutes of time as per now, but we'll extend another 10 minutes. So I will take 6 or 7 minutes. Number one, why did we start? See, till now, India has the migration of nurses we have seen only to the Kuwait, Gulf countries. And next we have seen to the developed countries, which we say as USA, UK, and New Zealand. All these are English-speaking countries. And the other way, Gulf countries are very near, 2 hours, 3.5 hours. It was very easy for them. When you come to non-English countries of Europe, as say, you face not only cultural shock because of lack of Indian community over there, and also you face you cannot read anything until unless you are like, for example, a South Indian. Let me say I'm from Karnataka. I know only Kannada language. I go and stay back in Jammu and Kashmir. Why did I take Jammu and Kashmir? Because it's a very, very cold country where Karnataka is always 35, 40, 42. So that first phase. Second, you'll be completely out of your culture. And you do not have much families and much things. Other way around, when North Indian come to South India, he feels himself very comfortable because he can communicate a bit of it. This is one of the things which we want to make it very clear with the Indian nurses who want to fly non-other English-speaking countries. That's one. Second reason to share was there are many like Germany. We took one of the example. There are also recruitment happening to Ireland and also in Italy and other countries. You have issues like adaptation courses, like as they say directly when you I'll come to it. So we want to share some of the examples. I took Germany as an example because 2021 Kerala, state of Kerala and Germany has made a bilateral agreement to exchange let's say migrate the nurses from Kerala. In this background, I will present you Germany as an example. So I'm going to share some of the slides so that it will make easy for you to read and also for me to present. Can you see? Learn before you fly. Can anyone confirm, please?
Yes, yes.
You good? Yeah. So I'll make a screen big so that here it's okay. Learn before you fly. Live experiences. This I thank most of the nurses. What I'm presenting is not only my experience. I spoke around 20-25 nurses, Indian nurses, let me say, in particular, and I spoke 3 or 4 Philippine nurses and 1 nurse from Syria. These are the examples. I thank for them at the straightforward for their open-hearted inputs, and some of them wrote after spoke with us after the night duties too. So thanks to all of them. Next is see some of the basic thoughts. Why these countries are not able to produce their own nurses? We need to think. It's at a larger level. I mean, why their young population not ready to join nursing? Is it true? Ireland, one of the nurse who's recently, I mean, around 5-6 years shifted to Ireland. He said no. Ireland is in Ireland, the nursing job is very much well paid, and because of that, they are well takers in the Ireland. I'll come to it comparison why Ireland is accepting in this case. Why UK nurses are migrating to Australia? NHS, if you see the last week's last month's newspaper, any of the UK newspaper, they say NHS that's a national health system which is existing in United Kingdom, is bleeding due to nurses migration. Their nurses migration to Australia. UK nurses having UK passport, you can go anywhere in the world and can work. That's a positive, and also for German, for UK, they are thinking whether it is good to do like that or not. Let's stop there. Does these government have taken extra measures to produce more nurses? Are hiring the nurses from the let me say global south are economically low income countries very easy and very cost effective for them? In that case, what are they doing? Are they giving something as a developmental charges for them? These are all some questions which you have to think when you start migrating, and you should read about it. So now, what are the common things among these European countries here? High number of old age population, which you mentioned. They have a dementia as a major disease. It's a kind of a developmental problem which old age people get, but you have very good respect for the nurses. And over that, as Sachin told a live example, you should watch the patient, body care. It is ultimate, the most important care which nurses has to do and should do it. So whatever you read in your news, read in your that Lippincott nursing book will be followed here. Just to give one word. Now, climatic changes, which are very important, except the south and north, a bit of difference. Southern countries in Europe are more warmer, and then northern countries, that you have to make a note. It's okay. Now, I make a comparison here. Very, very important is communication. When you stand, I said an example, standing in the Jammu and Kashmir without knowing their language or Hindi language as a basic is a fault. And you hear always this language. So make sure that option is to unlearn the English, what you learned in your throughout the life of 20-25 years, or learn a new language. You should take your option. Just to make this very clear, I have a next slide. This is all will be shared, and it's very important for you all guys to know about it. Could you see my other screen too?
No.
Can anyone confirm, please?
No. We can't.
You can't. Okay, leave it. So what I do is I will give off. If you read it, offentlicher dienst info TFO ODE. NMBI IE. So when you read it, it gets difficult. So you remember when you go into it, you have completely blank. So let me go further and not take time, which we'll discuss later. I have already crossed my 6 minutes. Sorry. Education, as I said, Germany started bachelor's very 2009 or 12, and there are no any specialties in nursing. At least they have specialties in masters in education where they're ready to go and teach. But they have Fachhochschule, which means you have a specialties in wound care management, specialty diabetes care management, geriatric care. Such kind of specialties are there, but not as a master's degree. Clinical. I missed one slide. Wait. Yeah, here I should be. Sorry. Just tell me after 5 minutes, Anurika, please. Huh? Language support. When you go to the UK or any Ireland or any English-speaking countries, you almost have a language support because you learn, because you know the language. You get the accent. Only accent has to be changed, some word. But here, till B1, B2, you should learn and come to Germany before coming. Once you come, employee need to struggle to get C1, C2 level and improve his own or her own communication. But employer, it differs from hospital to hospital and kind of a contract you made that you make a 20 years contract with, I will stay permanently here without going, then they may help you. That it's hardly a employer job, but it's a employer job. Very important. Adaptation hours. If you go to UK or Ireland, next week or next day, you can go for OSCE test. But in Germany, they will ask you to do 300 to 1000 hours of extra practical work before you go for examination. That is, I don't want to degrade the nursing in the Germany or Indian. Let's say they have done bachelors of nursing, they have their own kind of a curriculum which a country need. But why 200, 300 to 1000 hours of work? And it will take you months of time. And it, as Mr. Sachin said, it 1.5 years to 2 years. For me, it took around 2 years. I started in July 2018. I ended in March 2020. So that is how it's such a long time. And what happens here, during this time, you have been paid with a nurse assistant salary. That's a P5 step 2. It is called in Germany. So to tell you, just for example, when you go to any of the countries in UK or Ireland, your pay band is there. Ireland, there's a special salary, but UK not there. They will have pay band 3 and 4. But after 1 month or 2 months, if you're enough to pass the OSCE, immediately you'll get a PIN number, then your salary is increased. And very important, your experiences are counted to a salary. But in Germany, you already pay from Stuffer2, any other non-English speaking countries. It is because they are not regulated so far. Okay, I'll come where it is not regulated. And you are paid very lesser salaries during your adaptation time, number one. Number two, when you became a nurse, registered nurse, you again have paid a basic salary. It means you have 5 years of experience in India and you have working in Germany. You spent your 1 year to get an adaptation course. Then you work with a nurse who is same age as you and same experience, but he'll be getting around 500 to 600 more euros than you. It's a completely, I have raised this question and I am trying to push forward this issue of the basic is, if anyone has a basic prerequisite that's called a B1 or B2, nurse from any foreign countries, he should be paid a job equivalent to basic. When he gets the licensing, then he or she should be paid as per her experience. And if you know about WHO Code of Practices for International Health Migration, which is started by WHO in 2010, it also clearly says that one of the condition clauses to recognize the experiences of these migrant nurses from abroad. So that is not done in Germany still, but a long way to go. Hope we could able to do it at the end. So I'll go to the next directly. Education, I said there's BSc, MSc, PhD is then other countries in Germany, you won't find that. Okay. Clinical nurse specialties, no in Germany, UK has it, and Ireland has a very written documents for that. Nurse practitioners, yes, it is there, but Germany doesn't have a nurse practitioner. You're not supposed to practice independently, but don't mind. There's called an ambulant nurse. You community health nurse who goes to the houses and gives a basic care. It is not nurse practitioner as per se. But when you take to Ireland, go Ireland pay scale salary. There's a Ireland nurses organization. There you get a different pay scale salary for everything and what to be studied, what not to be studied. Nursing councils, yes, UK, Ireland have them. I have returned the email IDs, their websites to you. But Germany recently started nursing councils, whereas two states, Niedersachsen, I think, and where I am staying, North Rhine-Westphalia, which is the state, has started the nursing council. Unions, remember, in the UK and Ireland, the nurses unions are strong and they push everything what they want. And they get international nurses as a part of it. Whereas you come to Germany, nursing unions are, there are 5 or 6 nursing unions which are have 20,000 to 1 lakh memberships, but they have other issues which like getting the councils, getting the better change in the curriculum, better standards. But as part of the international migration nurses, there's a hard to do it in Germany. But other way around, there are larger unions which look after only salaries in general. Employer support, this is very important. In if you go to UK, there is a manager, you have an educator, then a line manager. There are 3 people who will look after you. In Germany, you have a nurse. Directly, you have one called as a station lead. Then you have your area lead. Okay. Now, problem here is you do not, until and unless Praxis Anleiter, it's called as the teacher educator, they are the part of the system. So that's a big difference. Sorry. So I told you social communication, very, very important. Please consider that you are being a South Indian or Kannadiga or Tamilian or a Malayali without knowing any other language, living in North India, which is cold, which is environment is so that's all. Working hours, that's a plus point for Germany. You have a 8-hour shift as in India. India has 7 or 6-hour shift, but in the UK and Ireland, you have 12-hour shift, which is more tiring, but you work only 3 or 4 days. In Germany, you work 5 days or 6 days in the month. With 100% working time, you work for 19 to 21 days. Okay. Now, third-party agreements, which you say contracting out in India, it's a simple word. It's a hardly existing UK and Ireland, but in Germany, there are third-party agencies, recruit the nurses and sent to the hospital as a daily basis or something. Communities in Indian community, I speak about only Germany because, for example, Sachin is also living in Germany. He has more contact with Kannadigas than me here. So there are some part of the Germany where you have good organized Indian communities. But to tell you frankly, there's called as international advisors. They do a day where all different kind of countries people come and celebrate there. It was yesterday in our state, in a city where I'm living. So that's a plus point for you. And special visas for family of nurses. I heard I should rectify this. I'm telling you clearly, it's recorded. Ireland, I heard that there's a special category, nurses and special category. They have a special visas for them. UK also, but Germany, I did not hear any other country. But fortunately, if you see our last webinar on Italy, there Heme Gowda was mentioning that the nurses who have been recruited during the COVID time without allowed to work and hired from the other countries with special visas. That options are then other countries too. In general, I have not heard of it. Language for the children, which is the major issue when you stay here for longer, 20, 30 years, you face. English is a normal language in our country. Everyone almost understands, speaks basic. When your child comes in Germany and Italy, their language is only German or Italian language. So you should hardly find the bilingual schools, which is very difficult. That's why you should think properly before coming to any other country and don't fall in the trap of people saying that I have seen you'll get 2,600 euros in Germany. After that, you'll get 3,300. Let me tell you, their P5s to first 5, which is nursing assistant job, is 2,600, 45% to 50% the tax because you come alone. When single person comes, whether you married in your country, doesn't matter to the country of where you fly, they directly cut you highest salary, highest taxes. So henceforth, whatever the amount they said, please ask him what is the take-home salaries for me. What are the other perks I have to pay there? Then you understand then you decide. Okay. With this, whatever I want to say, like Germany has to think of, any other countries has to think of. One is unlearn English or new language. That's left to you, and think background, your future, 10 years, 20 years, you're going to have a child. How that should be thought of. Germany and other countries should think of adaptation course, what other countries are thinking. Putting a abroad foreigners 1.5 years, 6 months to, which is very costly for them. 6 months to 2 years, underpaid and not considering their experiences, extremely unaccepted. Language support, what I always promote is, see, I am a nurse who come here in the Germany and I am working 100% because I'm a guest worker. I want money. That's a major thing I'm coming here. And after doing the tiresome work, which is, if you start working here 8 hours, you close your eyes, open, you're gone. Such a hard work you have to do here. And language, within this time, after this time, you cannot spare for anything other than your family. So henceforth, our request was that the language should be included as a career development program in the Germany and other non-English speaking countries, within the system, which is the working hours. Non-working hours should not be allowed. And Germany and other countries should rethink our practical theory hours, which I've said. With this, I stop. Thank you. Oh, I took 20 minutes. Wow. Sorry. Over to you.
No issues. Thank you so much, Santosh sir. And now question answer session for 10 minutes. And then we'll wind up. If anybody has got any questions.
So I want to ask how this migration will affect. Jibin, can you tell me?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question properly. Can you repeat?
Jibin, he means what are the impact of nurses migration, immediate
Impacts of
impact,
the
and long-term
migration.
impact on the Indian
All right,
nurses,
all right. Right, I got
nurses
it.
in per se as a union perspective.
All right. So in one way, if I take it positively, then definitely I can say that there is a improved social status of the nurses and their family, because the moment they move to the different destination countries, their social status are getting improved. But in another side, if you look at the rural areas in India are getting weaker services in terms of nursing professional. Like nobody wants to work in rural areas in India, and most of them wanted to move either to a city or out of India. And again, of course, the privatization is one of the important thing here. If you could look at the number of hospitals, the private hospitals are increasing day by day in Indian healthcare. And I think because of that, it will directly compromise the effort to achieve the universal health coverage. And apart from that, of course, we have, because of this, international migration, increase in the international migration, some of the countries have taken ethical recruitment process under which they have come up with a lot of, competitive examination and professional assessment to the nurses to labs in countries like UK, USA, and all. For example, like if a nurse have to get their license in UK, they have to get their OSCE done. If they're going to USA, then NCLEX RN. Similarly, all other countries have come up with those kind of examinations. And the major impact in country like India, of course, we are running short of nurses because most of them are getting migrated to different countries. It is because India, as a healthcare, we are not really treating well to the nurses in terms of providing better working conditions, then the facilities, the working hours, many more things. So these are the main impact I think what we are facing right now.
To add on to this, I would like to specify the private nursing institutions, which is 99% of the nursing institutions are private in India. the education fees has been highly increased in last couple of 2-3 years, and that is who is regulating it, how they, I think there's a body needed needed in India to regulate at least the fee structures. The fee structures have gone double in some of the cases, and that we need to, I think that's one of the immediate impact. And private hospitals are anyhow not paying the basic which is recommended by Supreme Court committee. Now when the private hospitals say as a, if migrate Germany or any other country or UK and US needs 2 years of experience, where do they get this? Because the public hospitals have stopped the permanent recruitment. They're taking on them on let me say contractual basis, and private hospitals will exploit these 2 years by underpaid job and forcing them to not give, if they do, raise their voice, not giving the experience certificate, such things will happen again. Henceforth, we need to be very the Indian government has to look for see for more regulation. That's what I want to add it. Thank you.
Why there is nobody questioning the government how many nurses can migrate in a year? Why our union is not working on it, or TNI is not working on it? Also, Jibin, I have one question with you. You said German or other foreign language to be taught in the nursing education system. Won't it will enhance the migration of nurses, because they will start their nursing with the mindset that they are not going to work in India and they have to go abroad only?
Not necessarily. One thing we can say that now when we think about the migration, one way we say that it's a brain drain, but another way we also can say that it's a brain gain in terms of like if the nurses goes abroad and work there for like 10 years or 15 years, and later that if they come back to Indian healthcare system, and if India can accept them, that will be actually benefiting to our healthcare system. So,
but in no way we are providing such a system over here in India that we are getting them back over here, and the lifestyle which they'll adapt to in 10-15 years over there, and the type of the salary they'll be getting over there, they'll not get in India. So why they wanted to come back? Nobody wants to come back.
yeah, that's very true. See, that's wherein it is important to improve the nursing professional standards in India itself. Like when you compare with any other countries versus Indian nursing profession, we have a vast differences. Right now, some of my colleagues were talking about the way they work in the hospital and the way we work in Indian hospitals are pretty different. So I think nurses have to be given more roles in the healthcare system. They have to be given with more responsibilities in India. And also they have to be involved in the policy making and decision making power, so that nurses themselves will feel that, okay, we have got some area to work and project ourselves. Then in that scenario, probably people will look and they will try to stay back, or once they move to abroad, and they will also try to come back if they have given with some good opportunities and good position in India itself.
Exactly. For me, it was a very eye-opening session, because every time we see a very rosy picture, when you go abroad, you will learn so much, you will earn so much, you will have a better lifestyle from here. And today we got to know a different picture, that, okay, we have to face lots of problems. And rest, anybody has any question? The platform is open, or otherwise we'll wind this up. And yes, one more thing, just one more thing, Santosh, please. I would really love to have more sessions like this, so that it will be really helping the new nurses who are in the profession, so that they'll come to know the problems that they are going to face when they'll go abroad. Because every time we see, okay, we'll be earning good, we'll have a better lifestyle. Nobody talks about the problems we'll be going to face when we'll go abroad.
There is one question in chat box by Govind. He's writing, why the Indian institutions like TNI, UNA, Kerala State Nursing Council working hard to export nurses? What is their motive? Can anybody have a light on it?
I think I can add some point. I don't know, you might agree with that or not. See, right now, like if you see the migration of nurses from India, it is more from southern state of Kerala, largely from southern state of Kerala. And if you look at the current GDP of Kerala is being contributed by NRIs, I mean the migrant people. And that too, the nursing community are contributing a lot to the Kerala GDP. So right now there are increased number of nursing colleges and schools in Kerala and Karnataka, nearby states, and most of the people wanting to join the profession because of the package what they see in overseas. And of course, I really do not know what was the intention of TNA being started with the recruitment. And I don't think Kerala Nursing Council is promoting it, but of course they are part of some of the committees. But UNA doesn't have any recruitment wing. We do not have anything related to the recruitment. But there are some government agencies like NORCA and ODEPEC from the Kerala state. They are actively recruiting nurses from India to various countries, even GCC to European countries. They have signed an MOU with different countries to recruit the nurses. So to Germany also, they have signed a triple win visa agreement. They have signed agreement with Middle East countries. Also, right now they signed an agreement with UK government. So main motive of what I see, they can place the nurses abroad very fastly. And also, I think there is a push from the private hospital, because in one way, right now, what is happening in the hospital, the private hospital, the retention ratio of nurses are getting high. And attrition ratio are getting high, because a nurse work in a private hospital will work there only for maximum 1 year to get a basic experience done. Later that they'll move to different countries. If the nurse stays back for more than 1 year or maybe beyond a couple of years, then definitely those people would be expecting better wages. And actually this will enhance the collection of, or maybe collective bargaining, because there is a possibility of improving the strength of unions. Because when you have a number of nurses working there for a long period of time, which will actually gather their confidence on working on unions. Right now, as a union, what we are facing challenges like when we get a new leader into the union, those leaders will be moving out immediately, and we lose the touch with the hospitals. So maybe there is a push from the private entities, the private recruitment agencies, and of course from the government side for recruiting those nurses abroad because of I think economical benefits.
To tell you, just I'll take 1 minute of time. TNA, there's one study which I could share. Those who want, they can write to me. There's a study done by Gender Studies on Indian what happened within Syria war when nurses have been trapped there, and after that the consequences, TNA became a agent. I think once we should ask, as being a member of TNA, to give us an open like this discussion and call them. They should themselves come out and say, okay, why did we start recruiting the nurses to abroad? If they come up, that's well and good. But there's an issue after 2013 and 14, these Syria nurses trap issue. TNA took an initiative to recruit. What I studied and read, if anybody want, I can share. Number two is what I see. One way what Jibin told is correct. There should be regulation on it. Non-regulated things will always create the issues what happened in Syria now. So I think there's a need to regulate more and bring more stakeholders together and discuss. That's what is I feel. And over to you, Anurika.
Thank you so much, Santosh. And it was like Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway. There is some other picture which is shown some other way, and what we found out is something else. For me, I really wanted to have such discussions on every country so that we can have share it with somebody, so that before going they can share or go through such experiences from the people who are living there. And for the rest, I'll say thank you everyone to be here. It was such an eye-opening thing and really enriching. And over to you. You can say something. You're muted. Santosh, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm audible now. I request
Yes,
those who
now.
want to put on their videos, and we can take a collective picture and say thank you and see you again. Sachin, would you like to at least come on the video so that we'll take a small pic? Yeah, thank you, Sachin. Others can also join in. Okay. Anybody want to open? Is there 1, 2, 3, 4? Govind is there. I'll wait for another 1 minute of time. If there, could you make a click out of it, Govind, please? Control print screen, right? If I'm correct. Yeah.
Done?
Yeah. Are you done? Okay. Nangraj is also there. Govind, it is done. Or Jivin, is it done? Yeah. Okay then. Thank you.
Good
Thanks,
night,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank-
Happy Father's
Thank you,
Day
Jibin.
to all
Thank
our
you, everyone.
fathers.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
Sorry
Yeah,
for
yeah, sure.
interrupting. Excuse me, sir. Sir, Jibin
Yeah.
sir, Santosh sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I have a question that whether it's related to this or not, I don't know.
Okay.
That doing masters in our India is just required after BSc. It's required 1 year experience is mandatory. Why is it so in India, sir? Why not in other countries? Why so?
So, Lavanya, shall I